think the biggest challenge is the financial challenge. Obviously, for every niche business, the first challenge or the first question is how you are going to justify, because we are talking about the commercial, basically, operation. And at the end of the day, it has to be a kind of financial justification. I think that's remain the very remarkable challenge, when we are talking about a startup, and how we want to start a new business. In this case, teleport business, considering the industry, trend, and everything. Back to your previous question about the main challenge in the teleport, right? Assuming that if there would be enough justification to start a teleport business, which sometimes there is, then the second challenge, or basically the second point, would be why and how we want to set up or we want to operate a prospect teleport, right? Obviously, in the first place, in the first phase, it's very important to check, or basically to understand all the feasible options. Talking about all the trend inside the satellite industry. Talking about LEO, MEO satellites. All the constellation coming up in the very next futures. I think the concept of the teleport is going to change a slightly bit. Any future setup has to make sure the setup will be, first of all, very flexible, very modular, in order to change from one technology to another technology, perhaps from one frequency to another frequency band. And to me, because we are moving toward basically using the satellite communication more and more as a kind of complementing the other means of the communication. Let's say we are hearing a lot of conversation, a lot of basically talk about IoT, for instance, or big data. Then we have to make sure we are not in silo. I had the same communication with you in communication in Singapore, and I said we have to adopt a kind of liberty when we are talking about the teleport. Teleport has to be a very open ecosystems. We have to embrace people from internal and external to come, and to help us to connect, because eventually the goal is to deliver the connectivity. We have to make sure we have enough facility, we have a proper system, a proper culture, a proper ecosystem in place in order to embrace this kind of facility. Talking about teleport, I believe there is a very straightforward trend to go toward more unmanned operation, to concentrate more on automations, to concentrate more basically on using more and more automation when we are talking about the teleport operation itself, but using the human capitals in order to have customer excellency, in order to actually ensure the quality of service and the reliability of the service is not and is going to be less and less about basically the teleport itself, but is about the service which we are going to actually deliver from the teleport facility, whatever it is. Plus, we need to understand that the teleport, at least to me, to my understanding from the trend, teleport will be toward more data-driven kind of operation rather than to be purely satellite-driven type of operation. We have to make sure we are part of the data community. We are nothing but just the gateway to connect the rest of the world basically to our community, no matter how big, how small it is. Well, I think the biggest market opportunity nowadays obviously is connectivity in general, but if I want to segment it, I think the mobility is still an emerging market. We see more demand. People, they want to be connected even when they are in airplane, and they want to have the same experience which they have it at home, or when they're walking in the street, or when they are sitting in the coffee shop and enjoying a cup of coffee. I'm not saying they want exactly the same quality, because there are a lot of technology constraints, but they have to make sure at least they need, or they can actually have a sort of acceptable basically quality of service when they are traveling, because internet is become a community. You talk with people, you share data, you share your moment with people through the social media, or you communicate with people. You make sure people, they are aware of what is going on with you. Or if you are doing business, you don't want to miss the opportunity, even when you are in, let's say, long haul flight, let's say from east to west. You have to make sure everything is going well, and you are accessible for your team somehow with your colleague if something happened. I think there are a lot of interest, no matter you are using internet for just a personal matter, or you are using it for the professional matter, i.e. business purposes. There are a lot of room to grow. There are a lot of room to deliver the service. I think Teleport, as I just mentioned just a few minutes back, they have to make sure they are flexible enough, in order to embrace all the upcoming challenge, or if you like, upcoming technology. The legacy setup is very slow, and any change will cause a lot of capex, a lot of change, a lot of basically headaches somehow. I think we have to make sure the Teleport will be, the setup has to be flexible enough, modular enough, and reliable enough to embrace all the new concept, all the new technology. Because the goal at the end of the day is to serve and to basically address the customer or the consumer concern, whatever it is.